Welcome to Novi Sol. We are back with another story. In 1975, in a small village called Gahiri, life was a constant struggle. The village was underdeveloped, with no proper roads, schools, or hospitals. Most people lived in poverty, relying on farming and small trades to survive. The days were long, and hope was often scarce. Yet, in the midst of hardship, the annual village festival was a time of joy, where people forgot their worries and came together to celebrate. It was during one such festival that Meera and Karan first met. The air was thick with the scent of roasted peanuts and fresh flowers. Colorful lanterns lit up the dusty paths, and the sound of traditional folk music filled the air. Meera, a young woman known for her kindness and radiant smile, stood near a market stall, admiring a delicate anklet. Karan, a man with sharp eyes and a confident demeanor, noticed her from a distance. As fate would have it, they reached for the same piece of jewelry at the same time. Their eyes met, and in that instant, something unspoken passed between them, a connection, a spark. Over the next few weeks, their paths continued to cross. They met at the village well, exchanged smiles at the temple, and found moments to talk in the quiet corners of the fields. Meera, raised in a modest household, was gentle, nurturing, and full of dreams. Karan, on the other hand, came from a family that valued education. He had studied in the nearest town and returned to Gahiri with hopes of creating a better future. Despite their differences, they fell deeply in love. However, their love was not welcomed by everyone. Meera's family worried that Karan's ambitions would lead him away from the village, while Karan's parents believed Meera, with her simple upbringing, would not fit into their world. Yet love defied all obstacles, and they married, believing that together they could face anything. For a while, their life was blissful. Karan worked hard, hoping to move to the city and build a prosperous future, while Meera took care of their small home, ensuring he always returned to warmth and comfort. But slowly things began to change. Karan's love, once tender and protective, turned into something suffocating. It started with small things, questions about where Meera was going, and disapproving looks when she spoke to the neighbors. At first, she brushed it off as concern. "He loves me too much," she told herself. But soon, the concern turned into control. "Why do you need to go out so often? Stay home. Your place is here," Karan would say. If she hesitated, his voice grew sharper. "You don't need to talk to other men. I provide for you. Isn't that enough?" The love that once felt like wings now felt like chains. Meera's world became smaller, the arguments grew fiercer. Karan no longer spoke with the warmth he once had. His words stung, his anger flared over the smallest things. If Meera questioned him, his temper would rise. She learned to stay silent. She learned to walk on eggshells. She stayed, hoping for the man she loved to return. She stayed because she had nowhere else to go, and when their children were born, she stayed for them. With no education, no money of her own, and a society that whispered behind her back, she felt trapped. But as the years passed, Meera began to see the truth. Love was not supposed to feel like this. Love was meant to be freeing, not a prison. One evening, as she sat by the dim fire, she looked at her children. Their innocent eyes held hope, dreams yet unbroken. She realized she could not let them grow up in this environment, believing that love meant control, that silence meant survival. With trembling hands but a determined heart, Meera made a choice. She would leave, not just for herself, but for them. The next morning, before the sun had fully risen, she packed what little she had and stepped out of the house that had become her cage. With each step, she felt her chains breaking. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew one thing. Real love gives freedom, not chains. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to our channel.